Let's begin this episode with a very profound exercise. Something that is going to be practical and something that maybe if you don't understand anything in this episode, or maybe if you don't remember anything because your human brain basically forgets 90% of everything that learns, because if not, it will be so overwhelmed that you will not be able to assist. But maybe, and just maybe, this experience will be kind of a practical, visceral, emotional thing that you can grab in your soul and remember for life. So I want you to imagine God. I want you to close your eyes and bring you to your imagination God. What are you seeing right now? And just continue imagining God and play with this. This is a game. There is no correct or incorrect way to perceive God. What are you feeling right now? And I want you to respect and value whatever thing is going on in your mind. And I want you to love the fact that is a moving image. Just notice you are not just imagining one thing that is steady, static, without movement, because it is impossible. You are in the psyche, by definition, is dynamic, by definition, is changeable, is moving, is transforming, and you are using that power of bringing an image in your psyche to to imagine something that also is dynamic, changeable, transforming, mysterious, enigmatic, that we call God, because we don't know how to call this phenomenon. And I want you to now start to breathe very profoundly as you are imagining God. And just notice how you feel inside right now during this exercise. And I want you to feel the energy that your body is generating right now in this exercise. This is not about beliefs, dogma, religion. You can even be an atheist and you can imagine God. Just use your imagination and notice the vibration of God. Notice the power of God. Become conscious of the love of God. and just surrender yourself to your imagination. Let go control. Let go expectations. Let go your agenda. Let go your ego. Let go and just be here now with God. Good. Now, very, very, very slowly open your eyes. And I want you to understand something very profound. This is the closest that you will ever be to God. Obviously, you can be closer because when your consciousness is sophisticating itself and growing and expanding, and if you continue to do this exercise, you will feel God more and more and more and more. It will be a more profound and deeper experience for you. But this modus operandi of imagining God and making it real, making it omnipresent in your imagination with a proactiveness, with intention, with the power of your being, with the power of your concentration, focusing on God is the only place that you will find true God. Because God, my friend, lives in your imagination. And welcome, my friend, to the most transformative podcast in the multiverse. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. Season 2 with your host, your favorite doctor of all time, the Papacito of Puerto Rico, Dr. Derek Israel, and this is the episode 594. God or gods. in plural, lives in your imagination. This is the place for the luminous, for the liminal, for the archetypal. This is the place for transcendental entities. This is the place for nucleus of spirit. The whole cosmos is imagination, is a mental substance, a psychic infrastructure that is imagining different things. But that is too much information for now. In the future, I will be covering more about this. But one of the most powerful things that this psyche, this psychoid, or mind with capital M is imagining, and notice, I'm not telling that you are imagining this. I'm telling you that mind without a personal entity controlling mind, that is your ego who wants to control mind. The ego is the one that says, oh, my mind. My what? Your ego is inside mind. No, your mind is inside your ego. To say my mind is to say my God. Both are narcissistic, arrogant, and unconscious and ignorant. We cannot say my God because you exist in God. No, the other way around. You exist in mind. No, the other way around. And if you meditate enough, if you contemplate enough, if you focus your spirit in expansion enough, you will become conscious of this truth. This is an actualizable truth, something that you can actualize. I'm telling you this because I am already in the other side. And I am not completely done by any means. I have a long journey ahead of me. But I have been working pretty deep in the last 8 years of my life to actualize this type of truths. And although I have still a lot of work, my consciousness has reached a profound degree. This is just the fruits of my work. It's not that I'm special. It's not that I'm a genius. It's not that I am a guru like any other. No, it's just cause and effect. I have been meditating my ass off, reading sacred books, practicing psychotechnologies that are cosmologically profound, and this is just the result. And you can achieve this type of result if you get straight and you continue in your path of yoga, in your path of union, in your path of God's realization, in your path of enlightenment, in your path of becoming who you are. Who you are God. We are all God. We are all everything in the multiverse. We are all the same substance. I'm not talking about our egos. Don't be so narcissistic. Don't be full of hubris. I'm talking about without the ego. We are all God. So there's nothing to be proud of. You're not special. God is the less special thing in the universe because it's the only thing in the universe. So because it's the only thing in the universe, how can that be special? Like if in the universe is there's only water, nothing else, and then another drop of water like fall from the sky to the water, and also the sky is water because everything is water, how special is that drop of water? Nothing. Well, you are nothing because you are God and I'm God. We are all God. So we are all nothing. And our mind is imagining all of this. Not our mind like is like if it is a possession. I'm just telling our mind because that is in language kind of one of the ways that we speak. But don't fool yourself to think that is yours. It is not yours. It is not personal. It is transcendental. That's why it is called a transcendental existence or a transcendent consciousness. Now, in order for you to merge with this type of things that are you, but you don't remember that are you, and that you are slept, you are sleeping basically, you are unconscious, you are in the darkness. So that's why we invent gods, we invent stories, we invent myths in order for us to remember who we are and to have a map, like kind of a conceptual territory of how we can move forward in our psycho-spiritual development. So we invent different gods. We didn't invent metaphysically the God. We just invent the story around the God, and we invent the name, and we invent the traits, and we invent the personality of the God. And then we invent a religion around the God. And then we invent some rules and some morals and some societal structures and institutions that surround those gods. And then we invent our life around that God, and different cultures do this with different gods, but we are all those gods. And all of those gods live in our collective imagination. Those gods lives in your imagination. So if they live in your imagination, you can access them through your imagination. Your imagination is direct contact with God, with yourself, with everything, with nothing. So it's in your best interest, in your best cosmical interest, to start using your imagination right. Don't use it to fool around only. Hey, sometimes we do it, right? We need to have fun. You know, as Friedrich Nietzsche used to say, a God that cannot dance, I don't believe in that God, you know. You need to be able to dance and fool around sometimes. For more on that, just look my podcast titled The Power of Fun, one of the most important podcasts that I have done in this Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2. So have fun, yeah, but also use your imagination to access the most potent degrees of humanness. What are the most potent degrees of humanness or humanity? Godhood, operating in God mode, Christ consciousness, the ultimate chakra, the crown chakra, the universal chakra, the universal ego. Use your imagination to access those states of consciousness as well, because from there, my friend, you will output beauty, art, love, and words of transformation. You will output conscious leadership, selfless service. You will output intelligence to this world, to your world, to our world. What is more beautiful than this? What is more artistic than this, man? What is more passionate than this? What is more virtuous than this? Than you becoming the greatest self that you can be, accessing the greatest gods that you can access, and then embodying those gods in a definitive purpose that you can actually actualize in the world. Man, this is This is one of the greatest lives that you can live, man. What is the alternative? Don't believe me. Don't believe me. But ask yourself, okay, what is the alternative? The alternative will be maybe working in an 8 to 5 job, a capitalistic paradigm. Nothing against capitalism. I am not a communist. I'm not. I am not a socialist. But I understand that capitalism, and we will discuss these subjects in the future more in depth. But capitalism can become toxic, especially when they separate us from spirit, from beauty, from human connection, from intimacy, from consciousness, from love, from union, from art. When everything is a product and a profit, man, that is capitalism at its worst. And the alternative of this paradigm that I'm trying to sell you is what? What is following culture, following media, following Hollywood, following sex, drugs, alcohol, a meaningless work, a meaningless job. I have a little bit of blood here because I was shaving and I cut my face. A meaningless job, a meaningless family, and a meaningless life. Dude, that is that. Don't buy that, man. Please, don't do it for me. Do it for you, dude. Don't buy that lifestyle, man. You can decide what lifestyle are you buying. You can decide what movie you are directing, what movie you are writing, and what movie you are acting, because you are every character of the movie. And also you are the director, and also you are the spectator of the movie. You are everything as God in your imagination, because your imagination is all that there is. You cannot separate reality from imagination. Notice this. And you may be imagining right now, oh, that is so wrong. Right? Yes, you are imagining that is wrong. Of course, of course, of course that it's not imagination. So stop imagining then that is wrong. And then what? Well, then I am here, present. Oh, present. Present is a word that is in your mind, in your imagination. It's a concept. What is to be present? Oh no, it's experience. Experience where? Where is that localized? In my mind, like in my brain, in my imagination. Yes, of course. Everything is in your imagination, dude. You cannot escape. Everything that you can imagine to escape imagination is already a product of your imagination. Just try, do the exercise, man. That's why physicists have been never able to demonstrate an external world, external reality, independent from the subjective dimension or the observer or the imagination, because there's no such a world. There's no such a universe. Everything is in your imagination, in our dream. This is a dream within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a dream. Is God playing with itself through your imagination? And it's imagining very good things sometimes. Flowers, butterflies, kittles, sex, orgasms, oral sex, kisses, popcorn, cinema, a good podcast, a good cigarette. Don't smoke, please. But hey, I used to smoke cigarettes and I loved them. And I don't do it anymore because I am, more conscious now. And I know that, of course, I will never do that again. But sometimes I am seeing a movie and they are smoking in the movie. I'm like, man, that is one of the most amazing experiences in the ego realm that you can have, like smoking a cigarette. Of course, it's only in the egoic realm. As soon as you get out of the egoic realm and you have a mystical experience, for more on that, you can search my episode title, How to Have Your First Mystical Experience. And when you start having this type of mystical experiences, mystical love, mystical intelligence, union, sublime beauty, art, a cigarette is the stupidest, more superficial bull beep kind of experience that there is. But from the ego perspective, from the pleasure points perspective, from the hedonist filters perspective, is kind of one of the most amazing things, like smoking, right? But yeah, that is another thing that is happening in your imagination. And imagination also can bring forward very, very, very dark things like pain, suffering, cancer, HIV, diabetes, the death of a child, rape, prison, terrorism, Holocaust, suicide, all those painful things that are truth as well are here as well. So imagination is amoral. Like it doesn't matter. It's just imagination. It's just life. So God live in your imagination. So start treating your imagination with respect and start imagining a better relationship with God, whatever that is for you. You can imagine also that God is an archetype. And yes, of course, it's an archetype. And I will do an archetype on God, an episode of the archetype of God in the future. I already have a reproduction list. The You can go to my YouTube channel, reproduction list, and you can find the archetypes reproduction list bilingually, some on Spanish, some on English. And I already have a very good, profound list of different archetypes that you can study. I have the magician, the warrior, the wise man, the king. Soon I will be doing the witch, la bruja. I will be doing the friend archetype, wife archetype, husband archetype, God archetype. So God is an archetype as well. Okay. As an archetype, you can access to him through your imagination. Where do you think that archetypes lives? In your imagination. Of course, they manifest themselves in your life. That's why they are archetypes. They are patterns that comes and go cyclically. They are a cycle. They are a spoiler. They are a recurrent a scene of this movie that you call life. But their origin is in imagination. That's why they are projected always in stories, in myths, in movies, in paintings in the cave, in music, in the first songs that humans made, in your dreams. Why do you think that you always will dream a dragon, for example? Is one of the most famous archetypes. You will dream your shadow. You will dream a witch, a magician, a lover, a fool, a buffoon, right? Those things, if you watch classical cinema, they are always projected there in the movies. They are always projected in the books of children. They are always projected in your dreams, even in your fantasies. Even if you sit down and start writing a novel, right? You are doing an art or a poem or a song. You will say, "Oh man, there's an archetype there," and you will say, "Who the hell is writing this? I, the ego, the persona archetype." I already discussed that archetype as well. me? Is me who is doing this art, or is the archetype that is using me to do this art? Because it seems like it's always there. It's like this, the pattern, the signature of the human condition is an archetype. Well, God is also an archetype. That's why God is going anywhere soon. Like atheist thinks that God is dying. No, God is transforming. It never die. Even if you are an atheist that only believe in rational beliefs, well, then science, rationality, the cosmos, dark energy, the Big Bang, those paradigms, those ideas will become your God, and they will serve archetypically, in the archetypal sense, they will serve the God function in your imagination. They will give you sublime experiences. They will open your mind. They will give you mystical, merging, intersubjective experiences with the whole cosmos. They will stretch your personality. They will make you who you can be. Every role an instruction of God. I don't care what God it is. It may be Buddha, it may be Allah, it may be Krishna, it may be Christian God. I don't know. Those are the functions of God. They give you structure, they give you direction, they give you expansion, they give you equanimity, they give you peace, right? They give you nirvana, heaven, salvation, purification. Well, then those things that are rational, systemic, periodic from your logical mind, they will serve that function because God lives in your imagination. So it's not that God didn't exist, it's that you redefine God. You recontextualize God. And God will always be recontextualized depending on culture, depending on art, depending on the discourse that is penetrating society in that particular historical moment, depending on language, depending on the current civilization. The God that we will invent when we are a interplanetary species living in the whole cosmos is not the same God that we invented now. Because maybe if we are an interplanetary species and we are in the whole cosmos, hanging around, drinking beer in our spaceship, and we discover some aliens, well, then our God, the imagination, the God that lives and we create through our imagination, need to encompass those aliens as well. Because then how we are going to be able to explain God if we cannot explain the aliens with that God? Then it's not omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipowerful. It's a partial God, and we don't like that because it's not the nature of God. God is not partial. God is absolute. Absolute. Relative is relative. Absolutely. So it's in every dimension, in everything. So if we find aliens, well, God also needs to respond to those aliens. He needs to explain those aliens. And then if we, let's say, cross sexually with those aliens and we can reproduce, let's say that that is a possibility. I don't know, right? Humans, we cannot reproduce with other species yet. Like, for example, some animals can do it. But then those bred or those animals that come from those crossing, they cannot reproduce themselves, so they are sterile, right? But humans, we only can reproduce with humans for now, or at least that's what I know. I don't know if we can reproduce, I don't know, but that is what I know. But maybe in this exercise, this is only an exercise of imagination, If we can sexually reproduce with those aliens, the hybrid thing that will come to existence, it will invent another God. Not only the individual, but the culture, the civilization. They will invent another God that need to respond to me that I am half alien, half human. So my God must be half alien or half human or something emergent, something more than that. And there that invention is uh, happening. Imagination. So gods are archetypes. Archetypes lives in your dreams, in your imagination. So use your imagination to merge with God, man. Imagine more God. When you are praying, imagine God present in the session. And you may ask, but Derek, how do I know if I am imagining good? If I am imagining God in the correct form? You don't know, dude. There's no correct form. There is no incorrect thing. It's just imagination. How do you know if George Lucas imagined Star Wars in a correct form? He just imagined it. And you may say, yes, it was the correct form because it was an awesome form. Well, that is your opinion, but who knows? How do you know if J.K. Rowling imagined Voldemort as the best as she can imagine Voldemort into existence? We don't know. She just imagined that thing and she put it in an art form and now it's Voldemort and that's it. Now he lives in our imagination forever. Just imagine the thing, man. Imagine how you think Allah is and speak to him. Develop a better relationship with him slash you. You in your potential more greater form that you can be. Dare to be a reckless God in your imagination. Dare to create new multiverses of gods. Dare to be crazy with gods. That is the only way that you will basically be a responsible God. That is the only way that you will not make a disservice to your life, to your potential. Dare to imagine gods. Be brave. Go hunt them. Go explore them. Go merge with them. Go and make love with them. Go and be them. Go and embody them. Go and make them something tangible in existence. Bring them to life with your art, with your career, with your actions, with your values, with your sexuality, with your words, with your actions, with your leadership. Oh, there's like kind of a cool sound. Maybe that will be kind of a new Derek Israel sound. Hey, my name is Derek Israel. Welcome to the Mastermind Podcast. Bring them to life. my friend. That's your duty. That is the only way that you can worship God. If you dare to use your imagination to join with God's, to know them, to experience them in your visualization, in your meditation, is you dare to bring them to life, you will change humanity. I assure you that. Because it will be impossible that you will become contaminated with those entities that have supreme power in consciousness and just stay the same. It will not happen. You will not stay the same. It is impossible that you have a potent encounter with Christ and you are the same afterwards. It's impossible. Or a potent encounter with Krishna, or a potent encounter with Thoth of the Egyptian gods, or with Ra of the Egyptian gods, or with Zeus. I don't care with whatever you want to imagine, man. Whatever archetype, whatever supreme entity, man. You will become more powerful, more lethal. Therefore, and maybe you will have some revelations. You will learn how to speak the language of God. That is an episode that I will be shooting in the future very soon. How to speak the language of God, and then you will be able to help other people with your own particular talents, with your own particular karma, with your own particular personality and purpose, man. This is beauty. This is your potential. This is your life, my friend. Share a comment, like this video, subscribe. Remember to check indirectisrael.com, all the courses, all the services. You can hire me as your guru, your psychologist, your personal coach. You can donate on Patreon. You can access the free chat on Telegram. Everything is in the description. I see you in the next time. My God.